Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
Come a long way.
It went by fast.
It went by really fast, considering where we started and where we are today, the technology that we use, and you've got to see some of these episodes.
A sincere thank you to Wellstar North Fulton Medical Center for its sponsorship and for fostering a healthy community where businesses can thrive.
Welcome to the 100th episode of Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud, President and CEO of Roswell Inc.
And I'm Ashley Allen, VP of Operations for Roswell Inc.
Andy Williams, President and CEO of Visit Roswell, the city's destination marketing organization.
What an exciting episode, guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
Come a long way.
It went by fast.
It went by really fast, considering where we started and where we are today, the technology that we use, and you've got to see some of these episodes.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, this all started out when a group of us were really kind of sitting around one morning. It was like a Monday morning, kind of had a cup of coffee like we always do, and we started chatting about projects and things that were happening in the community. The conversation morphed into, I wonder if the general public or maybe some business owners or residents would be curious about this too.
I don't know if you guests have heard me tell this story, but I was literally on maternity leave and I got a ping on from Facebook. And it was saying about like, you have new comments on your recent video. And I was like, recent video? What are they doing while I'm gone? What is happening? And I looked and I was like, okay.
Surprise.
And then I saw the next week another. And then it was only a couple weeks later I came back. And within like 6 months, we went from this kind of like little shorts. Because we realized quickly that you barely like sat down and talked to somebody or about something. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, hi, bye. So we went a little more long format. And then it's just taken off from there.
Hopefully, like as our viewers have really kind of, been on this journey with us from the first couple of weeks of this to where we are now, gosh, what, a couple years in, you've seen the quality get better. And that quality got better because we invested in equipment.
Yeah, we went back and watched that first episode of the phone suction cup to the glass over here. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, like I forgot what those first episodes were like.
You said the other day, 200 plus hospitality businesses in the city of Roswell. Mm-hmm. So, people a lot of times asking, what are we doing? What do we do every day?
What are we not doing, really? That's the question.
Right? What are we not touching, right? What's happening in Roswell, Georgia? And there is a ton.
We've had a lot of, I call them emotional moments, but one of them was our good friends at Naylor Hall. We were interviewing Abby, and she runs the show over there with the owner, David Bailey, and talking about Sunny. Sunny was on our board, Sunny Bailey. I had known Sunny since she had started at Naylor Hall at 19. And so we had a long relationship and a good friendship, and she was friends with my wife, Amy. And it was just really touching to talk about Sunny.
Yeah, absolutely. She was great.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Sunny. Obviously, near and dear to my heart, personally, and a lot of people in this community.
Yes.
So Sunny, left a legacy. Big shoes, right?
Yes, very big shoes.
And I'm obviously in conversations with David on a regular basis, Bailey. And so we appreciate their investment and continuing on. I call it her legacy of hospitality.
100%.
Because you can feel it. Like you walk into place, we were there last week, you walk in and it just feels like she's still there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I had someone tell me this front room, it just feels sunny. That was the word they used. And I was like, it does. Yeah,
that's
it
a
really
compliment
does.
to you too.
Thank you.
And we've had a couple other really touching episodes, I know, over the last few years. And, one of them was Bay Mediterranean.
Sure. Absolutely. New restaurant, great story. Tell me how Bay came about and what does Bay mean, right?
Actually, so Bay is a true love story to our moms. And damn, I'm going to start crying. We haven't started yet. I lost my mom a year ago, and it hits home because a lot of these recipes are my mom's, his mom, right? So it's a love story to our moms and to Lebanon, right? Beirut. So Bay, B-E-Y, is our airport code in Lebanon. The same way it's ATL here, it's B-E-Y in Lebanon. So if you know, you know. Like if you're Lebanese and you know that Bay,
oh yeah,
this is what it is, right? And it's BEY because the French way of writing Beirut was BEYROUTH.
And the Old English.
And the Old English, yes. Beirut.
Probably one of the most funny episodes, heartwarming but funny, was Pat Pasquarella Agrana. Yeah. I have to say, we laughed our way through. More bloopers, more cutouts, more edits than any time, anywhere. But the things that we learned about the meatball flight, the things that we learned about his family and coming to Roswell, coming to Georgia, period.
Oh, we were dying laughing just going back and watching that episode.
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. For a while, I've been seeing this on, and I'm like, when the hell are they going to ask me? I want to be on.
Here we are.
So, all right. So I'm going to go way back. So when I was 5, I learned how to make pasta. Okay. Right. So I was the kid that instead of being like, instead of focusing on kid stuff, I was cooking. Right. My grandmother was there at a very young age. I was an old soul. Right. So I knew that I wasn't going to have a lot of time with her. Right. That was just the thing. So I was like, all right, well, let me learn as much as possible.
It's cool.
So fast forward, 6, she's teaching me how to make bread. Then I go in when I was 8, we went to Italy for the first time. Wow. Right. And it's funny. I tell this story all the time, and half of the people believe me, the other half didn't. I remember coming back from Italy, looking my mom in the eye on the plane saying, I want to be a chef. And she's like, why? She's like, her first thing out of her mouth is she goes, women cook, not men. That's the way it was back then. Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I was like, if this is what food is supposed to taste like, this is what I want to do for a living. And it wasn't until I was 13 where I would just so happened to be at a party. And it was at my buddy's house, and his uncle just opened a restaurant. And he's like, hey, what's your name? And I was like, Pat. He goes, you want a job? And I was like, I was like, yeah, I'd love one. He's like, no, for real. Like, I need a dishwasher tomorrow at noon. So I was like, yeah, okay. So they thought it was funny that they told me to be there at noon, but they didn't show up till 2. So I was sitting outside for 2 hours just waiting. I was like, maybe I don't have the job. Did I get fired already? Like, how does this work? And from that moment on, I just kind of just embraced it all. Like, cooking, I just felt like was just one of those things that like kind of just found me. And I ever since then just kind of hit the ground running and just kind of never stopped. I think.
And then we had Variant Brewery show up. Here Andy and I are with our coffee, chit-chatting. Next thing I know, Matt Curling.
Yep.
What's he do?
Pulls out a can of beer.
Pulls out a can of beer and
8:30 in the morning.
Pours it right into the cup.
An awesome guest this morning. This is Matt Curling, who is the owner and lead brewer at Variant Brewing Company. Good to have you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah. I brought some beer for you guys as well. Some brew.
Oh. Okay, we should stick to coffee. We won't go that route.
But if it works for you, we're good.
And Curling brought beer. Whataburger brought us entire cases of
tons of burgers.
Yep. But Ryan Pernice probably brought us the coolest thing. Andy, can you tell us about that?
This is when, Table in Maine received the prestigious Bib Gourmand Award through Michelin. They are the restaurant in Roswell here that was featured by them. And I thought it was really cool. Chef Woody came, Ryan came, did a fantastic podcast with us, and then left us with this as well. And it is on display here at the Visit Roswell Inc. offices within the Visitor Center.
So that's actually original Table in Maine wood from the original home that was built in 1910. We used that wood to build the mantle, the bar, tables in the restaurant, a lot of different things. We had to buy new tables because restaurant stuff gets beat up. Yeah. But I didn't want to throw away the wood. So I looked to repurpose a lot of it. This was made by a friend named Michael, who also lives in Roswell with his company In the Woods. And I took him the table tops, and I basically said, what cool can we do with this? So we made some cutting boards with him, and with some of the offcuts, I said, you know what? I still want to keep all the wood we can. Let's put the Michelin logo, let's put Table in Maine, and that'll give people a little
that's super
point
cool
to remember.
Yeah, we really appreciate that partnership at RO Hospitality. Just a great family and great addition to Canton Street.
And they got the Bib Gourmand again for 2025.
Sure yeah. Off and running.
Congrats to them. Yeah. One of my favorite episodes that's just full of all kinds of fun facts was when we had Pat Rains on, another favorite Pat, to talk about blended family. And that's just a little hidden secret story of Roswell.
So funny enough, blended family is a COVID business. So it was actually started about a month before COVID hit. And so It was the brainchild of our partner, Scott Mayer. So Scott was a longtime bartender, high-profile bartender, actually down in Miami. Cool story. He actually won Bacardi's best bartender in the country. Fast forward, Scott decided to create his own brand of fine liqueurs. So with his knowledge and experience, he started putting together his own brand and building the products that we now know today as Blended Family. And as Scott was getting ready, he had the products dialed in and he was really getting ready to go to market. He was looking for a partner. And so through Zach and a random connection, through our business, we were introduced to Scott. And everything just kind of flowed from there.
Great episode with Blended Family, because Pat talks about the story of how they got Blended Family started, but it's also a part of the bigger family with Gate City.
And how they're on cruise lines now at this point.
Yeah, they're all over cruise lines and supplying cruise lines up and down both coasts.
And we're in 9 states and we have 3 major cruise lines.
That's awesome. Wow.
And that's technically an export. So we're actually exporting out of Roswell, Georgia,
which is really cool. And you're out on the high seas, which is great.
So we're on Disney cruise lines, all Carnival cruise ships.
Wow.
And we're on all Margaritaville.
Looking back at past episodes, both of your better halves have been on the show.
Yes.
Amy's been a guest twice.
So helping them find careers that make sense for them, helping them discover what training or education that they need to step into a career that they've always been interested in. It's RoswellFarmersMarket.com, and there is a vendor interest form. And we have gotten a ton throughout this year, especially as the market's picked up. But I always remind people, like, we are all volunteers with other full-time jobs. So sometimes our response, it takes us, might take us a little bit to respond. And so folks just need to be patient with it.
Ryan's been a guest and a co-host. Although, before we shot this episode, Andy forgot that Ryan was a co-host at one point. So I had to remind him.
It was a busy day that day. It must have been baseball.
But he said, after 100 episodes, it's just hard.
It is. Stardom.
I'm Andy Williams, Executive Director of Visit Roswell, and I have 2 awesome ladies from the community here with me today. Spoiler alert, one of them I'm married to. I'll let y'all figure that out.
As Kendra mentioned, it's starting out making it cool to be nice to people. And it's a shame that we have to teach that to little kids. But if I'm thinking back to middle school, we didn't have any of this. We didn't have social media. We didn't have a cell phone in every kid's hand, and it was still excruciatingly difficult. And so the fact that kids now can be mean anonymously, and I think Debbie, the whole concept of Be the Voice starting with kids as young as ours. Our kids learned about Be the Voice as kindergartners
at Mountain Park.
At Mountain Park Elementary, and I was lucky enough to be a school liaison for Mountain Park when our kids started there for Be the Voice, and so I got to see all the kids get off the bus and run in and be so excited that Be the Voice was there. So it's not like they have to go back and learn not to be a bully. They learn from the very beginning that that's not acceptable and that they don't want to be the mean kid, and it's not cool to be the mean kid.
Another great episode we had was BSBL, which is Roswell's youth travel baseball program. And I like to highlight that one because it got a ton of views. A lot of viewership. The reason, though, is because they sent that out to every single family on an app we use for communication called Game Changer as a way to tell the story of BSBL. And frankly, still to this day, we use this podcast actually to recruit kids into the program.
That's awesome.
It goes to show you that these podcasts can actually have a shelf life.
You said character earlier. We're missing the mark if all we're doing is trying to create baseball players. I did it. It's got to be somebody. My dad told me that when I was 7 or 8 years old, watching Dale Murphy at Fulton County Stadium. And he said, son, it's got to be somebody. Why not you? It has to be somebody. I get it. But the numbers, just the math doesn't math on, thinking if that's the expectation, we're setting up almost all these kids for failure.
When you look back, some of our top episodes were geared towards sports. It's either sports and food, things that people are associated with or connected to. And, Andy, you can talk a little bit about some of those top episodes.
Yeah, and a prime example of that is when we actually had Proper Tap House on, when we had Patrick and Lillian on. They've got an extensive network just from the wrestling scene as well.
but they've done some really cool things.
Expansion has been fantastic. Not only the addition of whiskey to the menu, and I'm doing some draft cocktails as well, which have been fantastic.
House-made.
And been fun. And it's fun to do those and tap into another level of creativity. It's just a new skill set that I've learned to like make these draft cocktails. So that's been really fun. And then redoing the downstairs area. Now the downstairs area, it was really it wasn't very decorated. It was overflow seating. I had a couple of dartboards down there. I've made about 5 people very sad that I don't have the dartboards anymore.
Oh, there you go. And when you look at the actual investment they've made down in the speakeasy portion, everything they've got going on, and with the network they have, that episode took off and really continues to grow.
Yeah, I don't know if they know this, but that is our #1 episode right now ever of all time with over 13,000 total views. So they're a few thousand ahead of the rest of our top episodes. So
in the last 90 days, which is great.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when or who gets to top that eventually.
Yep. Another fantastic episode that's got high viewership was Gracious Plenty.
Yes.
Connor and Jasmine on.
Love those two.
Gracious Plenty is so beloved in the community. They have an awesome story. They put a lot of love into what they do there. And just really, they facilitate just a lot of connection there on site. And so you see that when you actually take a look at how many views they've gotten. Very beloved. A lot of people curious and interested in really how they got their start and how they came to be.
I've eaten a lot of that monkey bread, let me tell you.
When people come in, we want to create a relationship so they continue to come back. So it's just like a snowball effect. And then, like you said, people tell this person, we want people to be excited to tell people about us, because when you walk into Gracious Plenty, it's not just food, it's family. We understand that people have a limited amount of money, a limited amount of time, and they're choosing to come to our establishment, and we want to make it worth their time, and we want them to leave feeling better. That's a big thing about us, is like, we believe Gracious Plenty is the droplet to the ripple, and that a lot can come from just smiling and knowing someone's name and getting their order right. Seeing people just want to be seen. And I think that's one thing that we've created this this family base of regulars.
Well, we've talked about a lot of our favorite moments over the last few years. Last year, we achieved a couple of big moments in winning not 1, but 2 awards.
Absolutely.
We won 1 through tourism.
Let me hold that up.
Sure did.
Tourism right here.
Georgia Association of Convention and Visitors Bureau. This was the Al Burris Award for Creative Expression for CVB's under $1 million budgets. And this is awesome because it just gave us the opportunity to highlight how you can take something like a podcast and turn it into truly a storytelling tool for a community.
And we also won the award at the IEDC, the International Economic Development Council, in Detroit last year for our media. And Andy's holding that little nugget there that's been hidden by one of our producers each and every episode. So if you go back and look, it's on one of the shelves somewhere, and it's hiding and it pops up. But what a great honor for us, for the whole organization, Roswell Economic Development and Tourism as a whole, for the things that they've done. So great job, team.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we've talked about where we've been. The future has, I think, a whole lot more story to tell. And so we're just excited what the next 100 episodes are going to bring.
Well, at least 100 episodes, because we've got 5,400 licensed businesses in the city of Roswell. So we've got a ways to go. Hey, follow us, watch us, learn about the city that you live or work in, or live and work together. And so it's always a great day to do business in Roswell, as we always say. Cheers.
Cheers.